there's a lot of reasons to not own a business and to not do this stuff. And it's so much easier to just like go get a job, especially when you have a lot of stuff going on in your life that takes up a lot of your headspace. And the fact that over the last how many ever years that you said permalancing or freelancing, writing and creating websites for people, all while thinking about this stuff just blows my mind in so many ways, because I feel like there's a lot of, it's so much easier to give up. Not like on, not, I mean, on a lot of things, but it's like so much easier just to like phone it in and go to work for somebody. And I'm curious, like, what is your motivation for doing this work and wanting to do this versus just like, I'm just going to go be a content writer for some random company and just like chill out?
Yeah. This is a great question. I love this question. Part of the reason why I'm self-employed, after I was diagnosed with cancer, I was diagnosed with several other illnesses. It may have been, I've got some weird genetic stuff going on. They may have been always in the pipeline, or the trauma of this illness may have kicked them into effect. And also in recovery from cancer, I often say that having cancer is not really the hard part. It's the surviving cancer that's the hard part. Things were very, very hard for me. Things that should have been much easier. And, I still identify as somebody who struggles with chronic illness. And it very quickly became clear to me when I kind of started freelancing by accident that this is a lifestyle that would allow me to be as sick as I needed to be and still make enough money to initially scrape by, but eventually make way more money than I ever made before. And so being a solopreneur, because of that, because of, chronic illness, cancer survivorship, the things that come with that, and the flexibility I kind of need in my life to be able to take care of myself and like continue to function more like a fully healthy person does. That has been a huge motivator for me for staying a solopreneur / freelancer. Also, prior to any of this happening, I didn't do well in the regular working world. I've written posts about this. I had 26 jobs before I started working for myself. I was always too much this, not enough of that. I would start something and I'd be a shining star employee for somewhere between like 3 months and a year in like the best case scenario. And then it would kind of like crash and fall apart. And I always thought I was just lazy, or I was just bad, or I was just whatever. And then when I started working for myself, I realized that the 9-to-5 world is just not made for a wide variety of people, and that so many people struggle with this. And it just, it devastated my self-esteem. It made me feel like there was something about me that was fundamentally broken. And then, yes, I became chronically like cancer, all these other things to deal with. And especially in the first few years after my 2 surgeries I had when I had cancer, the flexibility was so important to me. There were a lot of days when I could only do like an hour of work, and to be able to make enough money that I could just scrape by on that was huge. So bearing all of that in mind, pivoting to serve as I moved into web design, pivoting to serve micro agencies, freelancers, and solopreneurs, typically the micro agencies are also solo, has been huge to me, because I was making a lot of money writing words, technical writing for whatever company or copy before, but now there's like this purpose piece. So many of the people who come to me, especially because they come to me in part because of my personal brand, are in a similar situation. They're like, regular job doesn't work for me because I'm neurodivergent, because I have chronic illness, or because I have kids, or because that's the broad strokes list. And I see that the system to me is pretty broken in a lot of ways. And I think by empowering people to legitimize their businesses through creativity and design, and have more confidence in selling and pitching themselves and promoting their businesses, I'm able to help them gain that same freedom and get out of the same trap that just beat me down in so many different ways for so many years.
Yeah, working 9 to 5, definitely, you don't realize how much flexibility you don't have. I mean, I don't want to like poo-poo on having a job. Like,
no, it's great for some people.
It's really great for a lot of people. And it was great for me for the vast majority of my career this far. Yeah. John Bonini always jokes, he's like, my biggest flex is that I don't have a resume anymore. Like this idea of like, I don't have one is something that like, and I've like adopted this idea of like, I don't want one because I don't plan on ever going back. And if I go back, it's not because I updated my resume. There will be other relationship-based factors in play that will take me back. But anyway, the point is like, I totally agree with you. I think the flexibility, like you don't realize how much flexibility you don't have in that environment until you get to decide.
I don't think one is universally better. I always say like some people are 100% not cut out to work for themselves and some people are 100% not cut out to work for other people. And then there's people who could kind of either or. I'm probably the not cut out to work for other people category.